One of the more dangerous and difficult routes in Norwich for cycling is along Marlcross Road and up to Aylsham Road. What makes this route difficult is the sheer amount of traffic you get on it. It's a very, very busy road and it's not very wide, and both sides have lots and lots of parked cars. And to make it even worse, there's a very dangerous roundabout. Now, there are traffic light controlled crossings on the roundabout for cycles, but they involve a very quiet, slow detour. So what we're going to look at now is a way of avoiding all this mess. Slightly longer, but very much nicer to ride. We'll start our journey on the Marriott's Way at Anderson's Meadow. As any regular cyclist in Norwich should know, this is the junction of the Orange Pedalway and the Marriott's Way, so it's quite a junction for cyclists. We leave the Marriott's Way just before it goes under the bridge, which carries Marlcross Road over the top. And there is this little bit of cycle track, shared use of course because this is Norwich, known as Taylor's Row, which takes us up a slight hill to join Marlcross Road at Havers Road. Thank you. So when we eventually reach Havers Road, we come to the only real problem as it exists at the moment with this route, which is what to do about Marlcross Road. And you'll see ahead is a dirt track across the grass verge there. Now that's called a desire line path because that's the way a lot of people obviously want to walk and cycle. It's unofficial and a bit muddy, so we won't go that way. We'll follow the road we're supposed to take, which means crossing Marlcross Road. And it's no surprise that people ride on the pavement here. This is really quite a dangerous area. And if you are following this route, I would obviously advise that you follow the muddy path. Maybe you notice on the right hand side the muddy track ends at just the point where we turn left. So what's needed then really is just a cycle track following that muddy track. But perhaps better would be to build a cycle track on this side of the road, on that grass verge over there, going down this side of the bridge and joining Marriott's Way so that you could cycle under the bridge and never have to ride on the road. So we turned left into Valpy Avenue and we're now on quiet roads. Marlcross Road is climbing quite a steep hill on its way up to Aylsham Road, and this route does it in a series of gentle bursts. And then we turn right into Drayton Road, and it's a noticeable but fairly gentle climb. The Marlcross estate was built in 1923, so it celebrated its 100th anniversary in 2023. One of the nice things about it is it's designed for walking and cycling, but what it means is we've got some routes through which cars can't use. And when we get to the top and turn right into Wheeler Road, we come to the first of these. Of course, these days people do have cars, and sometimes they can be parked rather annoyingly, but there is room to get through. And then we come to the Drayton Road. This is quite a busy road, so you'd have to be a bit careful, but there is a centre island for crossing. And we get across and we get the first of the little cycle tracks, which is nice. That barrier is a bit of a pain, but it's probably there to stop anybody going a bit too fast from going straight into the road. And we zigzag our way up a fairly steep bit of hill, and then along a fairly narrow but adequate section of shared use cycle track. We are still going uphill here, but it's not too steep. And of course, being uphill in this direction means it's downhill in the other, so you do have to be a bit careful about your speed when you're coming down the other way. Eventually we get to the top and turn right into Salim Road, if I'm pronouncing that properly. Salim Road is still slightly uphill, but it's quite gentle, and breaking the ride up like this does make the whole hill easier to climb. After a short while we turn left into Burgess Road, and again it's another slight uphill. At the top we have to cross Margaret Paston Avenue. Although not a terribly busy road, it is a through road, and so it carries a bit more traffic than most of the other roads. But once over Margaret Paston Avenue, we're in for a real surprise. A traffic-free cycle track. The traffic-free cycle track from the 1920s. Yes, it is shared use, but it's surprisingly good. Dead straight, slight hill, but otherwise it's fine. We even cross a couple of roads, admittedly very quiet roads, with probably some of the best cycle crossings in Norwich. I mean, these are just brilliant. But one really annoying feature about this whole route actually is there are numerous quite good blue finger posts that direct you to various places, and most of them have been turned around, probably by kids I would imagine, but nobody's ever corrected them. So until they can be put right, don't follow the signs. We reach the top of the hill and a crossroads of cycle tracks, and we turn right into Peterson Road. Worth mentioning, the running surface along here is terrible. But we run into Peterson Road and follow that for a little while. Nice and flat, no traffic. Don't turn left. Not yet anyway. If you did, you'd end up back here, or maybe at the next road on the left. The road layout can be very confusing. Eventually you get to a huge roundabout, which just seems, well, I don't know, out of proportion for the whole area, really. I don't know why they built this, but we take the first exit. So, this is Bloomfield Road, which is nice and flat. The hills we've climbed, of course, are just the hills you have to climb to get to Aylsham Road, but the way this route takes you is to zigzag up the hill, which makes it much less of a slog. Going back the other way, of course, it's downhill, and with so little traffic, it's so much nicer than Marlcross Road. So nearly into the final stretch now, we get to the end, and we turn right into Rye Avenue. Rye Avenue used to be a through road that connected directly into the junction of Marlcross Road and Aylsham Road, but at some point it was closed off, so it's a dead end now, so pretty low traffic, and it feeds us, as I say, directly to the end of Marlcross Road and the junction with Aylsham Road. So there you go, there's a way to avoid all the traffic on Marlcross Road. The thing about this route is it's all there. There's nothing to be built, apart from the little bit down near Marriott's Way where we have to cross Marlcross Road. But apart from that, it's all there. All that's needed is to tell people about it, get some signage up, repair the signage that is there, and it's good to go. The second useful route through Marlcross is from opposite the crossing of Boundary Road by B&Q through Marlcross to Marriott's Way. This actually takes in about half the route that we follow to get to Aylsham Road. So we set off along the side of Boundary Road following this not too bad shared use cycle track. Now this is downhill, but it's actually not very steep hill, so coming the other way is easy. It's a good run down the hill, and there's not too many pedestrians around either. There should be a cycle track like this along the entire outer ring road. That would be really useful. This one only runs down the hill as far as the little park which we're about to come to, where we turn left. Now there's two ways through here. One of them is a footpath only with no cycling sign, and the other one is actually a cycle track. So that's the way we'll go. Bit steep hill here, and we're climbing back up the hill we just come down. But it doesn't take long to get up it. Pretty soon we get to Bowers Avenue, where we turn right. So we ride on the road for a little while, but like everywhere in Marlcross, they're not very busy. So there's not a lot of traffic, basically. Fairly shortly we go past a small shopping arcade on the left with a chip shop, and then we turn left into Lefroy Road. And we just follow Lefroy Road around the corner. Then we turn left into Clark Close. And down a little shared use cycle path. And this brings us out onto Bignord Road, directly opposite the entrance to the Norman Centre, which is where we go. And just as we go down the entrance, we turn right onto the cycle track that takes us around the side of the Norman Centre and back to that crossroads where we turned right on the way to Aylsham Road in part 1 of this video. We go straight across the crossroads of cycle tracks, and we're back on that cycle track that takes us down the hill. As a point of interest, the tower you can see in the distance is the Roman Catholic Cathedral on Earlham Road, which of course is just the other side of the Wensum Valley. And over the first of the side roads, and then we start going down the hill. Over the second of the side roads, and then down another hill, and then we come to Margaret Paston Avenue. A bit of traffic here, so be careful, but we go straight across and carry on going down the hill. Get to the bottom of Burgess Avenue and we take it right into Salim Road. And then fairly shortly we take a left, go down that fairly narrow cycle track. Do be careful about your speed down here, it would be very easy to go too fast, and there is a bend. So then we come out onto the top of the zigzag, down the really steep bit of hill, and we get to the annoying barrier which stops us riding straight into Drayton Road. Careful as you cross here, there is the centre island, so it's not too difficult. And then straight across into Wheeler Road. Then left into Dowson Road and the last good bit of downhill. Until we get to Valpy Road at the bottom, where we turn left and head towards Marlcross Road. At the end of Valpy Road, all we have to do then is to turn right into Marlcross Road. This is by far the worst bit of the whole ride, actually. and you might want to consider using the muddy Desire Line track through the grass verge on the left hand side rather than riding on the road. It's not far till we turn left into Havers Road and then immediate right onto the little bit of shared use path down to Marriott's Way. And at the bottom of the little bit of shared use path, we come to the Marriott's Way, and you've now got this clear cycle ride into the city, or to join the Orange Pedalway, or to go out towards Helsden. So there you go, 2 of the secret cycle routes of Norwich.